Hey, scrappy people, and welcome to the Besties Who Brunch YouTube hop. Today I'm going to be scrapping these 6 photos of my best friend and I over the last 8 years, and I'm going to be kind of doing a layout that sort of rounds up some of my favorite moments of the two of us and is sappy. So I am going to use 3 papers. I'm going to use this cute blue one with the hearts from the Besties Who Brunch collection, the stripe, and the background paper is going to be that adorable one with the hand hearts and the friendship bracelets. Now I want these papers to sort of be at an angle in the background. I don't want them to be straight up and down. So I am trimming them at not too huge of an angle, but enough to where when I layer these with the striped paper, they will sort of poke out top and bottom of each other and create this sort of framing effect on my layout. And I'm going to actually place my photos on either edge of the layout, so there's no photos in the middle, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a second here. But I'm just marking the spots where I want the cuts to meet each other, and then angling my paper so that it lines up with the cuts, and I have this angular cut, this diagonal cut. Then I will trim this paper again the same size as the other side, so I'm just using the other side as a guide. There we go. Now I've got all 4 pieces of paper that are going to frame my layout cut out. Now, unfortunately, when I trimmed that striped paper initially when I was first printing this collection, I actually trimmed it just slightly too short. I wasn't quite paying attention. And so it's like a 1/4 of an inch or an 1/8 of an inch off of 12 by 12. So I'm going to have to add a little bit on the top and the bottom to make it a full 12 by 12, but I'll deal with that here in a second. So the blue paper is going to go on the bottom. It is slightly wider than the striped paper so that it sticks out at the bottom here, and then the striped paper will stick out at the top, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. So when I line them both up, you can see the blue paper on the bottom, then the striped paper on the top, and it won't be super visible when the actual layout is done. It just kind of creates a foundation that is interesting visually, even though you don't get quite the full effect when it's all over. But then also sort of that hand heart paper is kind of busy, and so it's a good way to have it sort of peeking out in the middle so that you can see it and it has its like full impact, but doesn't take over the whole layout. So I'm going to just trim this little tiny bit where I messed up at the top here, but then I'm going to cut just some white strips of paper and add it to the bottom of the layout where I have that little excess bit there. Then when I get the layout all done, you won't really see like that seam. It won't be that big of a deal, but it's better than trimming that little 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch, whatever it is, off of the bottom of the page and making it not quite 12 by 12. I think that would have bugged me more. So little problem solved there. Now I can start putting down all of my photos and embellishments. So I'm kind of putting these in date order. This pink photo wasn't the very first photo of us ever taken, but it's one of the better earlier ones. So we're going to start there. And then we have some photos of us in Miami in 2021. And I'm going to put my journal card here that I've already printed my journaling on. I'm going to put it right here behind these 2 photos, and of course these stuck down a little bit too much. I should have thought ahead, but I never do, so I just go with it. I'm going to put it right here, and that little space is going to get covered up by an embellishment later. But I kind of designed my card around those photos knowing that it would overlap. Then this 3rd photo down here, shopping for plants together. And then we've got Pride, I think 2021, maybe 2022. I'm not sure. One of the two. I think it's 2021. More photos of Miami, one of my favorites with this big old drink that we're sharing. It's like a fish bowl. And then this last one is the most recent photo of us. I love this sentiment on this card. It says, "We go together like bottomless mimosas and calling a cab." And I thought that that was a good pairing with that giant drink. Plus, whenever we go to Pride, which this last photo was Pride too, we always go get mimosas first. So it pairs well with our story. This sticker is from the bonus sticker pack from the Besties Who Brunch collection that comes, excuse me, comes with the bundle when you buy the bundle. I love it. Little heart hands with the I love us. And the ones that come as a bonus sticker pack are a little bit larger, so it was perfect for framing the top of that 3x4 card. Then I have a bunch of the more realistic flowers that I've printed from the digital kit that I'm going to use on this layout. I have, on the first layout I did with my other best friend, I used the illustrated florals that I drew. So I wanted to use the more realistic ones here. Plus it adds a little bit more depth. When I'm done with the page, I'm going to flip up the edges of all of these flowers and they'll kind of float away from the page and add some depth to it. I love this little phone conversation. There's 2 little phone conversation stickers in the Besties Who Brunch collection, and that one says, basically, girl, I need to vent, and then the second one says, do you need a therapist or a hype girl? The third one says both, which is very, very good for our relationship. Do you need a therapist or a hype girl? Fits us perfectly, so I wanted to include that. I've printed out these 2 tabs that say, one says years and counting, blank years and counting, so I added 8 to it before I printed it, and then I also added established 2017 on the other tab. I love printing out journaling and like little labels before or adding it before I print it out. That way it's I don't have to handwrite because I hate handwriting. I always mess up. For some reason, my hand gets stage fright when I write on my layouts, and I have like the worst handwriting ever. Adding some more word bits. This came together really quickly, of course. Look at, it's just so fun. I love all of the layering. It reminds me of sort of like a mood board kind of a vibe. Very collagey. Very different than the first layout I did, which was for the Instagram hop yesterday, which you can find on the blog. There will be a link to the YouTube hop below in the comments or in the description box. So if you click on that, you can also find the Instagram hop and all of the layouts that were done for that. I am folding up the edges of these hearts that are from the digital kit because they're meant to look folded. So I thought since I had them actually, out of Photoshop and on paper, I would actually fold them, and I love the height that it gives it. Now, when I put it in the album, they won't stay super flipped up, but they will, they'll have that crease in them and they'll have a little bit of height, and I like that. I could put pop dots underneath the edges and make them stay up, but I didn't think that was necessary. Plus, I hate pop dots. I hate peeling all the little pieces, all the little backings off of pop dots. I don't know if I'm alone, but it's just so tedious. All right, adding my last heart here, and then I have that friendship bracelet that's from the digital kit, which means it doesn't have the sticker outline on it. So when I cut it, it really destroyed the tie that was just too skinny for my silhouette to effectively do. So I'm just going to add this pen glue, this really fine line glue, and I'm going to wrap it around this heart, which is the way I was thinking I was going to use it anyway. It's just missing the tie now, so I have to wrap it around a little differently than I thought I was going to. There's no tie at the top. All right, perfect. So now I'm going to add in some realistic embellishments. I'm going to add in some enamel dots and paper clips. I have this little heart paper clip that I thought matched pretty well. Of course, I didn't know where to put it. There we go, perfect. I'm going to trim off all of the excess around the edges here. And then grab some enamel dots from my stash, which is massive from years of working for Coco Daisy. Lots and lots of glitter dots. So I had no problem finding some that matched. I'm going to add one for every rainbow color, or I think almost. I don't think I add yellow, but I add pink, orange, green, and blue. And then I decide that I didn't really love the way that the orange was, so I am going to add yellow, but we're going to move the orange. So we're gonna put yellow here too. I kind of have a vertical like rainbow going on this page. I don't know if you noticed, but like with the hearts and stuff. So I wanted to mimic that with the enamel dots. And then last but not least, here we go. We're gonna fluff up all of the edges, which I think adds a lot to the page, especially with these more realistic flowers. But that is it for this video. Stills are coming. If you enjoyed it, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I'd love to have you. If you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Traci Reed. There's a link to the entire YouTube hop and the Besties Who Brunch collection in the description box below. It is 25% off for the rest of the weekend and into Tuesday, and I will see you next time. Thank you.